What do you do next? So that's yesterday, and we'll talk more about it throughout the course of the morning. But what about today? Because tonight becomes almost as important as yesterday. You've got 3 picks today. You've got, the 37 and 52? So there you go. And then a third-round pick as well. Brock, a lot of your guys are still on the board. I mean, just looking through Mel Kiper's big board, I'm looking at some names. Michael Mayer. That's kind of one that I'll say.
You can't do that at 37, right? I mean, the city of Seattle is going to melt if your first 3 picks are a corner, a wide receiver, and a tight end, even if he is your favorite tight end. You can't do that at 37.
Yes, you can. I would be okay with that because he's a big guy. He's a big dude who moves people up front. He helps your running game and your passing game. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I could live with that one. Some other names that have been on your list. I mean, Joey Porter's there. If it's Joey Porter, I'm going to be very upset.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
You can't take another corner.
That's not going to happen.
That would be too much.
Play that cut of John Schneider answering the question about talent.
Okay.
And Greg Bell, and I know it's kind of a hard one to hear. Greg Bell, I believe, asks a question about, hey, was this a situation with Witherspoon that you just best available talent fit? And John
he said,
Schneider,
is this a case of talent beating need?
Is this a case of talent beating need, and that you wanted to always give the best player?
Absolutely.
That's exactly
Yeah, and we recognize we need help in the defensive line.
And we recognize we need help on the defensive line.
So I'm going to land on that right now.
Okay.
It's 7:36 this morning.
Now it's time for need.
Now it's time for big men. Now it's time to address that need. Now, addressing that need may also be Frank Clark.
All right,
I mean, there's some free agents available. Let's remember that, how all of this shakes out. There are some guys.
So let me give you some guys that are available, and I don't think you've mentioned this name, but the top defensive lineman.
Keon White?
Right now, according to ESPN's big board, it's just the one I'm using at the moment, is not Sam White.
Keon White?
I'm sorry, it's Keon White. Yes.
Keon White. Yes. Yeah, and you know where Keon White
it's not. It's Keanu Benton.
Okay. Now those two are...
It's Keanu Benton from... That's what I thought. It was Keanu Benton.
From Wisconsin.
Yes, from Wisconsin.
Yep.
And then Keon White, who I know is one of your guys from Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia Tech. So these two guys are connected, and they're going to be connected, and they're going to be in the conversation. Keanu Benton, because he's a Badger. And we know that John Schneider's roots in Wisconsin run very,
what kind of a defensive tackle is he?
Well, he played in a 3-down front. I saw him last year against Wazoo. I saw him the year before. I've seen him multiple times. He's not he didn't
big.
He's a big man. He's
6'4", 309.
Yep. I never walked away watching tape leading into a game, watching him in person going, yeah, that guy tilted the field. That guy changed the game. That guy was a game wrecker. That guy was a war daddy. Now, in their 3-4 scheme, many times as a 5 technique, which is what he played, he was asked to just hold the point.
Kind of Red Bryant-like?
Yeah, and let all those linebackers, and a lot of them have been drafted in Wisconsin the last 2 or 3 years. Let them do their thing. Let them scrape. Let the Leo Chenal last year and Nick Herbig this year and a bunch of them over the years.
Well, we know that those guys can't have success without somebody doing something in
That's
front
right.
of them.
So I would not hate that at 37. He's an anchor. Like, he's right there. Mozzie Smith. People were like, hey, Mozzie Smith, Keanu Benton. Mozzie's a little more dynamic. But this guy is, hey, man, I know what it takes. I'm a hard hat. I come out of Wisconsin. John likes that program. He knows what you're made of when you come out of there and what you have been through in the grind of being a pro. So they take him at 37. I would understand that. You're talking about a big defensive lineman being able to play a bare front and hold the point and puncture the point and allow the guys behind him to do their job. So he's a do-your-job guy. Keon White, that's another one that they're going to be connected to.
He's more of a defensive end type.
Yeah, he is 6'5", 280 and ran 21+ miles an hour at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, ESPN comps him to Charles Omenihu.
Yes, he was the Senior Bowl war daddy. He was the one that turned heads in Mobile. He was the one where everyone went, hold on, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to move like that at 6'5", 285. When I profiled him a month ago, Old Dominion out of high school, tight end, athlete, I don't know, football player instincts, who knows, goes to Georgia Tech, flips over to the defensive side, kind of a bad Georgia Tech program, flashes, but not consistently enough with those traits to be in the first round. But here he sits and could sit at 37. Athlete.
Okay. So
Boye Mafe.
If you had your choice between those two, who are you taking?
That's a tough call. That's because they're different players.
I think honestly, just based on reading this and I think I would take Benton just based on what you've just told me. Yeah, just the logic game of like, look, if you need guys up front to take up blocks and actually become a problem, then he sounds like he can do some of that. He's 309 pounds.
Yeah, and then it becomes, well, how many more, Benton light or Keon White light is there in the third, fourth,
I don't know
fifth,
that I'm
sixth,
willing to
seventh
wait
round?
that much on that. Like, to me, there is some value with getting somebody like that up top.
Okay, so that's that side. That's the defensive side. Now, on the flip side, on the interior offensive line, which is the second neediest spot, I would say, middle linebacker, probably maybe 2A right there with you. But over the long term, like you look at their roster construction, and after this season, Phil Haynes on a one-year deal. Your kid out of LSU that's bounced around all over the line. He's on the final year of his deal. Like you need
Damian Lewis.
Yeah, Damian Lewis. You need interior offensive line. So there, no guard went yesterday. So big Osiris Torrance and 350 pounds that mauled Jalen Carter. He's sitting there for you out of Florida. Steve Avila, the guard out of TCU that I saw, athletic dude, big dancing grizzly bear. He's sitting there for you. So do you want the number one guard at 37?
And then both centers are still sitting there also.
Joe Tittman's sitting there. John Michael Schmitz is sitting there. So do you want the number one center, the number one guard on your board, or do you want...
Let me ask you this.